Have you noticed your waistline changing recently, even if the scale hasn't budged? Yeah, it's super frustrating, especially after 60. But here's a really fascinating truth. That larger belly you're seeing, it's not always stored fat. What you're actually looking at could be a mix of bloating, digestion issues, weaker abdominal muscles, or literally just the food moving through your system. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to separate the biological facts from the internet hype and figure out what is really going on. So we have to ask, is it stubborn fat or is it just digestion? Knowing the difference here is absolutely critical. Why? Well, because the internet is totally flooded with these miracle morning mixtures, right? Flaxseed, ginger, cinnamon, turmeric, psyllium, apple cider vinegar, all promising to fix every single problem at once. But let's be real. None of these ingredients can selectively melt fat from your waist while you sleep. A tablespoon of something in the morning just can't solve 6 different biological issues simultaneously, no matter how many influencers swear by it. Let's try a super simple test. Think about it. Does your abdomen stay about the same size all day? Or is it relatively flat in the morning, but then expands noticeably after meals and gets better after a bowel movement? If it's the second one, that's a massive clue. It strongly points to a digestive symptom that fluctuates hour to hour, not sudden pounds of body fat. That is a huge distinction. So to figure out what your body actually needs, here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at why the belly changes. Second, the fiber first group. Third, flavor and inflammation. Fourth, the blood sugar group. And finally, we'll build your safe morning blueprint. All right, section 1, why the belly changes. And spoiler alert, it's not just a slow metabolism. It's so incredibly tempting to just blame a changing waistline entirely on hormones or just getting older. But the reality, it's a combination of 4 specific biological shifts. First up, as we age, we lose muscle, and when your abdominal wall loses strength, it literally provides less support for your trunk, making your belly project forward even if you haven't gained fat. Second, we generally move a bit less, which slows down the digestive tract. Third, digestion itself just naturally slows down. And fourth, our bodies can become less efficient at using insulin to manage blood sugar. All of these interact, which is exactly why it's totally misleading to say a stubborn belly has just one single cause. To really grasp how common that digestion piece is, listen to this. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, a whopping 1/3 of adults over 60 experience constipation symptoms. 1/3. When stool moves slowly, your abdomen can feel heavy, firm, or distended. It is incredibly uncomfortable for sure, but again, it should absolutely not be confused with gaining several pounds of actual body fat. Moving on to section 2, the fiber first group, focusing on ground flaxseed and psyllium. Now, if your main issue is digestion and regularity, we've got to talk about fiber. Look, fiber doesn't magically burn belly fat, but it absolutely transforms your internal gut environment to help with regularity and keeping you full. Let's start with flaxseed. The literal keyword here is ground. Whole flax seeds might look super pretty in a smoothie, but here is a wild fact for you. They can pass right through your digestive tract completely intact. Grinding the seed is what makes it bioavailable. When you mix a modest amount, say a teaspoon in your oatmeal, with liquid in your gut, it holds water, giving you softer, easier to pass stool. Our next tool is psyllium. This is a highly concentrated soluble fiber. I want you to imagine a dry sponge expanding as it soaks up water. Inside your gut, psyllium forms this soft gel that adds both structure and moisture to your stool. It acts exactly like a sponge. And we need to completely debunk this crazy internet myth right now that psyllium is some kind of internal scrub brush. Guys, your colon is living, breathing tissue. It's not a dirty pipe under a kitchen sink that needs scraping. But because psyllium is just so concentrated, you have to respect it. You absolutely must mix it with the directed amount of water on the label and drink it promptly. Taking it dry or without enough water, that can cause gas, cramping, or dangerously worsen the exact constipation you're trying to fix. In this case, more definitely does not equal better. All right, section 3, flavor and inflammation. Looking at ginger and turmeric. You've definitely seen these spices hyped up as anti-inflammatory miracles. But inflammation is a highly complex biological response that your body actually needs for repair. It's not something you just wash out with one magic ingredient. Using regular culinary amounts of ginger and turmeric in your food, fantastic. It's a safe way to add flavor and maybe get some post-meal comfort. But those massive concentrated supplements, especially turmeric combined with black pepper to artificially boost absorption, those carry a very real, documented risk of liver injury, especially if you're taking multiple medications. So the golden rule for these spices is really simple. Use the smallest amount that gives you a benefit without causing a problem. Swallowing a massive raw tablespoon of ginger on an empty stomach is definitely not a fat burner. It's just a recipe for fiery heartburn and a completely miserable morning. Next up, Section 4, the blood sugar group, featuring cinnamon and apple cider vinegar. While cinnamon and apple cider vinegar might slightly help some people manage blood glucose after a meal, neither is a substitute for proper sleep, daily movement, or real metabolic management. And hey, if you're using cinnamon, the type actually matters. Cassia cinnamon, which is the standard grocery store kind, has high levels of a compound called coumarin. In repeated large doses, that's a liver risk. Ceylon cinnamon has way lower coumarin levels, making it much safer for daily use. But remember, we're talking about a modest sprinkle on your oatmeal here. Eating huge spoonfuls is not only a liver risk, it's an actual choking hazard. We all remember that infamous internet cinnamon challenge, right? And then there's apple cider vinegar. Let's firmly debunk the belly fat killer myth right here, right now. It does not selectively remove visceral fat, period. Plus, drinking undiluted vinegar shots carries real practical risks. You're literally drinking acid. It aggressively damages your tooth enamel, irritates your esophagus, and can severely worsen reflux. If you really want to use it, just use it safely diluted as a salad dressing, not as a harsh morning shot. Finally, Section 5, your safe morning blueprint. It's time to match the tool to the exact problem. The absolute worst thing you could do tomorrow morning is wake up and mix all 6 of these ingredients into one giant glass. Your body would have no idea what to do with that. Instead, we're going to build a safe blueprint. If your main symptom is constipation, your smart tool is a modest amount of ground flaxseed or properly hydrated psyllium. If it's bloating, don't just dump massive amounts of fiber in right away. Keep a food tracker for a week to spot your triggers. And if you're trying to support healthy blood sugar, skip the vinegar shots. Focus on a balanced, protein-rich breakfast followed by a simple 10-minute walk. Whenever you're testing out a new habit, you've got to be a scientist about your own body. Just follow these methodical steps. Step 1, choose just one change. Step 2, start with a tiny, modest amount. Step 3, keep your routine perfectly stable for a few days. And Step 4, monitor how your unique body reacts. This approach gives you actual, valuable information instead of just blindly following the latest internet hype. And I want to be crystal clear about something. Fiber and spices should never, ever be used to mask a warning sign. If you're experiencing sudden abdominal swelling, persistent pain, bleeding, fever, or unexplained weight loss, those are medical red flags. You absolutely must get a doctor's evaluation. Do not try to treat serious symptoms like those with a kitchen remedy. Ultimately, a single morning habit is just an anchor. It literally cannot compensate for everything else you do. True health really comes down to how you treat your body over the remaining 23 hours of the day. That means prioritizing adequate protein at breakfast, gradually aiming for that 22 to 34 grams of daily fiber, getting in those 10-minute walks, and of course, getting proper sleep. Which leaves us with this final thought. The next time you see an ad promising to shrink your waistline overnight with some secret spice, I want you to ask yourself, are you chasing a hype-driven miracle, or are you ready to actually support your whole biological system? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.